here at our chairman's luncheon today. We so appreciate you taking the time to be here, and we really appreciate you investing at the President's Club level. I just want to follow up on that great video. That's our Washington, D.C. fly-in, and it is coming up on September 17th to the 21st. I highly encourage you to be a part of this trip. This is a trip that has moved the needle for Nevada. It's not only a great trip for you all to continue to build relationships with one another, but it really has made a difference for our state when we bound together as a business community, go to Capitol Hill, and talk about the challenges and opportunities in our state. So please consider registering. Registration deadline is August 1st. Entrepreneurship and small business is very, very important to us here at the Vegas Chamber. We're so excited for today's presentation and our panel. And I want to share with you the latest thing that we're doing at the Vegas Chamber to help support small businesses. It is through our Leadership Foundation, and it's a program called EDGE, Entrepreneur Development for Growth and Excellence. And we just kicked this program off the last few months. It is a program that was made possible through an ARPA grant from the City of Las Vegas. And it's designed to support women and minority-owned businesses in the City of Las Vegas that were negatively impacted by COVID, which is pretty much all businesses. I just want to share a little bit about it. We are taking 75 businesses through this program between now and the end of the year. The grant is the qualification of the grant, as I said, it must be located in the City of Las Vegas, licensed in the City of Las Vegas, must have been in business prior to January 20th, must be 51% women and or minority owned, must be negatively impacted by COVID. And we're using this as an opportunity to recruit new members into the Vegas Chamber, new diverse members. So currently they can't be a member of the Vegas Chamber. And why is that? Because we're going to provide them with a 2-year chamber membership to help give them all the support that all of you know that's important to growing and sustaining a business, the relationships, the resources, all of the benefits of the Vegas Chamber. The program provides technical expertise to help businesses get to the next level. We have a 12-week course that just kicked off a couple of weeks ago that goes through all sorts of aspects of running and growing a business. Things like business planning, developing a business plan, updating your business plan, marketing, SWOT analysis, financing and credit management, attracting and retaining new customers, building your pipeline of business, marketing, which Shondell Neeson is going to be teaching us, and even government contracting. We think it's going to be really impactful in moving the needle and helping these businesses not only getting on a level footing and recover, but have the resources and the education they need to grow and thrive. It's also going to give them access to small business mentorship. And some of you out there that are small business owners, we're going to be knocking on your door to raise your hand to help support them once they get through. We'll take the 75 businesses through the program in cohorts of 25 to 30 to help support them better and also to give them the opportunity to build relationships. But you'll start meeting them as chamber members at different mixers and things, and I encourage you to introduce yourselves. This is just one of the things we kicked off Edgeworth is we gave them all booths at Expo. So here's some of our members now. In fact, one of our cohort members won Best Booth. Yeah. And then finally, what's next for the EDGE program? We are recruiting right now for cohorts 2 and 3, and you have flyers at all of your desks that talk about the program, and if you know people that would be interested and meet the qualifications, please feel free to give that to them. We're going to be launching small business mentorship for the EDGE graduates. We're going to develop a continuing education plan for these graduates. And finally, we're going to secure the resources to make EDGE sustainable beyond the duration of this grant. So any of you that want to support EDGE financially through sponsorship, please reach out to me. Anyway, it's my pleasure to bring this all to you. Now, it's a pleasure to introduce our chairman, Mr. Paul Anderson, who's Senior Vice President of Government and Industry Relations. Chairman Anderson.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate that introduction. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. We appreciate your time. Hope you're enjoying lunch and the opportunity to network just a little bit. And how about another round of applause for chocolate? I started my car remotely, so it's all good to go. It's going to be cool by the time the chocolate gets out there. To kick off the lunch, I certainly want to thank JPMorgan for Chase for the sponsorship here today. And let's also give a big thank you to Balloon Pros for this amazing balloon decor. Be sure to check it out for your balloon decor needs. Today we get to hear from an impressive group about the importance of supplier diversity in the growing Las Vegas economy. I know I know there are some impressive supplier diversity programs at many of our sponsors, including Luncheon Stadium, my company, Jaymee, City of North Las Vegas, and of course, JPMorgan Chase. I really look forward to hearing about the certification program and strategies that these folks will be sharing with us here today to learn about aimed at creating more equitable and inclusive business opportunities. Also want to thank many of the Vegas Chamber trustees that are in attendance today. Immediate past Chair Michael Fetter, thank you for being here. I didn't see Lori come in, so she's not here, doesn't get a thank you, or Chase. Michael.woodfield, thank you for being here. Bill Nelson, didn't see him. Oh, there it is. Hey, Bill, thanks for being here. Shonda Newsom, of course, from Sony Marketing. Larry Senior from Newmark. President Keith Whitfield, wearing his Rebel Red. Thank you for being here with us today as well. And Brian Thornton from Republic Services. Thank you all for your service on the board. Before we get started, I want to highlight a couple upcoming Vegas Chamber events. This Thursday, we have the Business Power Play Luncheon. July 13th, the President and CEO of the Golden Knights, Gary Wolbus, will join us, along with one of the original Vegas Golden Knights misfits, Derek England. So that's going to be an exciting opportunity at the Orleans on Thursday. And then, actually, we've got a video, I think, to show for that one. Okay, let's roll that. Mark your calendars for Business of the Year Awards on October 19th. These awards exemplify the tremendous spirit and capabilities of our business community. Nominations are now open from now until September 1. And of course, you can find links for these events and many of the other events on the Chamber website. Now it's my honor to introduce our guest today. Michael.woodfield, Executive Director of Commercial Banking and Vegas Chamber Trustee at JPMorgan Chase. Thanks, Michael. Danielle.a.davis, Vice President of Diverse Women and Veteran-Owned Businesses. Rose Davis from the Western Regional Minority Supplier Development Council. I mentioned too that Kara Clark is very good at acronyms if you ever think about rearranging that into something that's spells. That's a long one. Song. There you go. This is a senior for us later. Jaymee Lomax from Women Business Enterprise Council West. And Christina Medella, thank you, Managing Partner, owner of Storyville RD, not Homes, a video production company that has taken advantage of some of the benefits from the diversity certifications. Michael, now I'll turn it over to you for the program.
First and foremost, I want to thank the Chamber for allowing us to host this panel discussion tonight. Today, I think it's very timely. I want to thank everybody for coming. I'm Michael.woodfield. I'm the market exec for the commercial banking team at JPMorgan Chase here locally in Nevada. I have several of my colleagues in the room, if they would just stand up and be recognized real quick. I point them out because I'm sure a lot of people are going to have questions after this panel discussion, and you can approach any and all of us, as well as the panelists, to answer any questions you have, or to be a resource to gain more information. We put some information in front of you on the table today that we're going to cover on our panel discussion. So the goal and purpose of today is to have a conversation about minority business certification and procurement engagement with diverse suppliers. So I'm going to turn it over to Danielle.a.davis, who leads our Global Supplier Diversity Program. And she's going to talk a little bit about why have a supplier diversity program, what about JPMorgan Chase's Global Supplier Diversity Program makes it important, why certification is important to corporations, and what types of suppliers need what they need to have and do business with Fortune 100 companies like JPMorgan Chase.
Awesome. Thank you. First of all, I just want to let you guys know, I have the pleasure of going to many states and many cities across the country. And this right here is first class and first rate. I'm just going to let you know. I'm happy to say before we get started, the programs that you have in place for your members at the chamber, what you're doing just from me being here for less than an hour, it's first class and first rate. And I'm so glad that Michael sits on the board and able to help you guys through JPMorgan Chase, because that's what it's all about. So the first question that Michael just mentioned was, why have a supplier diversity program, right? Why should you have one for your corporation overall? Well, for us at JPMorgan Chase, it's just the right thing to do. I will repeat. It is just the right thing to do. So when we talk about diversity, equity, and inclusion within our company, within our employees, we want that to be seen and fostered outside as well in the communities that we serve, right? And in order to have a supplier diversity program, you now engage those businesses to do business with us and give back into the community in order to scale and grow. So that's first and foremost, right, is why you should have the supplier diversity program. It also just helps us with our corporate values, our responsibility, our business ethics. It's all about that, right, when you think of it overall. And it just helps underrepresented populations, people of color, women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, LGBTQ+-owned businesses, veterans. So it gives them an opportunity. So that's why you should have a supplier diversity program, right? It helps them get ingrained into our supply chain and how we do business and how they can do business with us. The next the question he asked was just about our Global Supplier Diversity Program, right? Overall. Guys, we have had a program since 1994. JPMorgan Chase has had a Global Supplier Diversity Program since 1994. We are almost at 30 years at doing this, right? And so, because we have been doing it for 30 years, we've learned a lot throughout that entire process, right? What works, what doesn't work, what can be tweaked. And it's an evolution and a process of the overall business in general when we talk about global supplier diversity. For us, annually, we spend $2 billion in this space with over 1,300 diverse suppliers. Diverse suppliers. That's what we do, right? On top of that, in 2020, we decided to do a racial equity commitment of $30 billion to communities across this country, right? To help them close the generational wealth gap, right? And so in addition to that $2 billion, we have said between now and 2025, so 2020 to 2025, we would give an additional $750 million to Black, Hispanic, and Latinx diverse suppliers. So the thing that I love about Chase, and I've been here this summer, it'll be 25 years that I started with the company as an intern. I know I don't look a day over 25. I don't look a day over 25. But 25 years, right? And the thing that I always say about this company is what we say, we do. We just don't talk, we walk, right? And so we do $2 billion with over 1,300 suppliers and an additional $750 million, right? And then lastly, in 2019, we became part of something called the $1 Billion Roundtable. And the $1 Billion Roundtable is a group of 28 companies, a small cohort group, that says that they will pledge to spend at least $1 billion with diverse suppliers, right? So what does that do for Chase in general? Well, that gives us access to these 28 companies, right? And if you decide and we decide that you can do business with JPMorgan Chase in the space, then you also have access to those companies. And just to name a few, AT&T, Apple, Walmart. The other company, the only other bank that's in that 28 is Bank of America. But very large corporations, right? It gives you an in to that particular area. So that's two of the questions. When we keep going, you know, I can keep talking.
So let's talk a little bit about what is the path to becoming a diverse supplier.
So the path for us is three different things I want you to think about. All right. So first is you have to become certified as a diverse supplier. Now, JPMorgan Chase doesn't make a decision as to if you're a diverse supplier or not. We have third-party certification processes. Two people are right here sitting next to me, right? We definitely partner with those corporations. So we partner with NMSTC, WeBank, NGLCC. And we partner with them, and when companies get certified as a minority business enterprise or a women business enterprise or a veteran business enterprise, it means that you are 51% just that, right? And we know if you go through these organizations, there's an industry standard. And they say, yeah, they've checked all these boxes, they've gone through a process, they are certified. So first is you have to become certified. Second, there's some minimum requirements. And I wanted to write this one down because I never want to mess up the minimum requirements, right, that you must have in order to do business with us. For one, you have to at least be in business 2 years, right, at least 2 years. You have to be able to serve on a regional, national, or global platform, right? We have to be able to know that you've scaled and grown in order to really work these contracts that we have. Because we are JPMorgan Chase, we have larger contracts. The next thing is you have to have experience serving other large corporations. Maybe you've gotten in the door with someone else. That really works for us because if you're able to do business with them, well, my gosh, you should be able to do business with us. And you must meet requirements of a third-party oversight review. So it's not just what we say, but it's what this third party says as well, right? To make sure that it's a standardization of the overall process. Now, once you do that, right, you've gotten certified, you meet the minimum requirements. You know, Michael did such a great job printing off information that's exactly what you need. It's at your tables. It talks about the industries that we support, right, that we want to do business with. It also talks about the website you can go to sign into our portal. And here's what I'll let you know. Our portal, when you sign into our portal for a global supplier diversity, people think that they're just getting like an automatic response, like, thanks for getting into the portal. No. Each and every one of those applications into the portal are taken a look at. And we give you a response based on what you put into the system, right? And sometimes it might not be yes. And if it's not, we tell you why. We give you the exact reasons why. But we go through each of those. It's not an automatic process, right? And then you stay in our portal for 18 months. And when you're in that portal, if we have opportunities that match, we will reach out. So that's kind of like the overall process for what you would need to do to become a diverse supplier. 2 handouts are there to really tell you everything you need to know.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle.
Thank you.
So at this time, I'm going to play a short little video clip.
We attack the root cause of the problems. You'll see a lot of foundations and organizations out there that focus on what I call the symptoms. It's like the kids need backpacks in September, right? The kids need sports camps that the parents can't afford to send to in the summertime. But they won't ask why. Why are scholarship programs necessary? Why do we need college scholarships? It's because the families can't afford to send them. WRSTC focuses on that. So don't get me wrong, it's great that community-based organizations goes out and builds in housing today. Winners count. The kids need winning come today. Yes, but if you never stop the inflow, the creation of underserved populations, you're going to give it back for the rest of their lives. What we do at WRTC does, and our organizations should support what we do, is because we're the key. We address the root cause. And if we are able to do our job right, and if we are properly resourced, then one day we won't be necessary.
Awesome. Thanks for playing the video. So Rose Davis is with WRM SBC. And Rose, you want to tell us a little bit more about WRM SBC and the benefits of it?
Sure. It's good to be here, everyone. It's an honor to be part of this panel and to be able to share with your organizations about what I think is just an economic impact for communities in our community. Something that Danielle mentioned about the third-party organizations that certify diverse businesses, the Western Regional Minority Supplier Development Council, we're one of those third-party organizations. We certify ethnic minority-owned businesses. We certify that they own, operate, and control the business. And we'll talk a little bit about the criteria and things like that. But the other thing that we do is we develop them. We connect them for opportunities with supply chains in corporate America and government. And then we advocate for them. I sit on the Stadium Benefits Oversight Committee that ensures that there's value that comes for the small businesses, for the Raiders being here at Allegiant Stadium. So that's some of the things that we do within the WRMSDC. We are facing the corporates to be able to come alongside them and build their supplier diversity programs or help them develop a supplier diversity program from scratch. I'm excited that I serve as Director of Corporate Services and Minority Business Development. And what that is that I've got the ear to the corporation side of their needs, their wants, what is a strong corporate-ready minority business or diverse business. But then I've got the ear on the minority side too. What are their needs? What's hindering them from growing, developing, getting access and contracts? So very excited about our organization. We're not a new organization. We celebrated our 45th year last year. And we're one of the subsidiaries underneath the National Minority Supplier Development Council. We cover Northern California. I'm responsible for all of Nevada and Hawaii. We have over 1,000 minority business enterprises that are certified through our council, and then we have 250 that are certified right here in Las Vegas. Shondell Newsom is in his company. Some New Marketing are one of the minority businesses that are certified through our council.
Awesome. Thank you, Rose. Jaymee, with We Back West. Can you tell me a little bit about what is a certified minority business enterprise?
I can't without being heard, John. So what I will talk about. So I'm just kidding. My name is Jaymee Lomax. I'm the Vice President of We Back West. We are a 501c3. We are the largest women certifying agency in the United States. We Bank is the parent company, we'll say, and there's 14 regional partner organizations. I happen to represent one of the largest organizations, RPOs. I have California, Nevada, Colorado, Utah, Wyoming, Hawaii, Guam, and American Samoa. I had to look up American Samoa because I did not know where that was at. Super excited to be a part of it. My other hat, I used to be a supplier diversity professional, so I know how supplier diversity truly does work. When you're certified, started with our company, they were at 13%, grew all the way up to 46% before I left. I've been involved with this organization for 17 years. I did a little research on Nevada. Nevada has over 300,000 small businesses. Over 107 of those businesses are women-owned. How many of you are women-owned out there?
Yes.
So just like Rose, we have relationships with a lot our job is exactly the same. We want to make sure we provide opportunities for Fortune 500 companies. So for instance, we have a sourcing division within our organization. So Boyd will reach out to us and say, we're building a new facilities. Do you have an architect or a construction contractor that might potentially be able to help us? We have a sourcing department within our organization that will search our database and provide them a listing of some of our women-owned businesses as an extension of their supplier diversity program. It is highly important for you to be certified, and I will tell you, if you do some research and look at those Fortune 500 companies, you will see that they have supplier diversity programs. When they have a supplier diversity program, that means they have a commitment to do business with you. So there's going to be opportunities, and you have folks like these from Chase Bank that are champions trying to make sure that you guys are getting opportunities. I just want to say quickly, thank you, Chase, for everything that you guys have done for us. I told you how large my network is, and they are everywhere. Do you hear me? Everywhere. They're supporting us, introducing us, finding out who our WBs are, trying to connect them to other folks. So I greatly appreciate it. The reason why you need to get certified is because when a large corporation of a Google or a Facebook, they have supplier diversity programs. When they're talking to their stakeholders and they say, I'm spending, $60 billion with a woman-owned business, they want to know that they're providing true information. That's why it's important for you to get certified by a third party. That's why most people don't utilize self-certifications. There used to be hundreds of certifying agencies out there. A lot of the Fortune 500 companies will not recognize that just because you can say, whatever you want to, and they're going to accept it. So, as Rose will say as well, there's so much information we need. It feels like we want your firstborn's information, but we don't. But they want to know your stock. They want to know how you started your business. Is that for me?
No.
I talk a lot. I told them to cut me off at any time because I am really passionate about what I do. But I will tell you, just like Rose, we have great relationships with a lot of these companies. Like, for instance, I just had an event with Walmart had an event, did an introduction, quick introduction. They met one of our company businesses. They followed up with them. 318 days later, the women's business is now in every single Walmart store. That's 3,800 plus. And that was from a quick conversation. Ladies out here that we did a quick invitation with Sony Entertainment. His name is Lance. He thought, oh, that's cool. And I'm not kidding, it started from tape. When cell phones first came out, she kept dropping her cell phone. So she created some type of weird tape to go on the back of it, and then stopped sliding. And she's like, you know what, I can do this for tools. So she started working with construction companies, and now they use this so their hammers not slip out of their hands. So she met Sony, she was offered to go onto Shark Tank. She is now in the Sony stores. So what happens when you're networking, you have these businesses out there championing for you. But without that certification, you don't really get those opportunities. Because corporations like JPMorgan, I don't know if they exactly do this, but a lot of corporations, what they will do, when things go out to procurement, when those RFPs come back, they're looking at it, and they want to make sure it's not just going to majority companies. They want to make sure there's a woman or a minority business that's getting that opportunity. It's not an entitlement program, it's just to make sure you get opportunities, and that's what it is.
Thank you, Jaymee. Tell me a little bit more about the certification process and how individuals and companies can work with you to get certified.
Sure. So certification, there's a lot of data that's asked. Again, we'll talk. It's in a primary database, so I can't get into it, so I don't know all your business. That I will tell you. They have to sign a non-disclosure. Information cannot be shared, but they want to know how you purchase your business, who owns the stock. They look at your bylaws. You have to run and operate your business. You can't just be the owner of the business. You have to be managing operator of this business. I don't know if you have more that you'd like to share with it, because we pretty much have the same things that are needed. The cost too, so it varies on the size of your business as well. So we have businesses that are $50,000. I have businesses up to $7 billion worth of B that work with us. So we have a huge variety of businesses. And it's also great to work with JPMorgan, but you should also be working with some of your other women business owners or minority businesses as well, because they're purchasing the same type of things as well.
I just want to mention the video that you saw. That was our president and CEO of the WRFSDC, and he mentioned that we really focus not on the symptom, but the root cause of underrepresented communities, and how can we impact that? So I always like to bring this key. This is my key because I'm a visual person and everything, but what the certification does is it provides access. That's what it does for our MBEs. Because in corporate America, it can be very difficult to find that decision maker for your goods or services. Well, we have relationships with those folks in those corporations, in the operations, in the procurement departments, in the supplier diversity department. So it's providing access to opportunities, access to capital, access to connections, access to development. We have a corporate ready program because you as corporations gave us feedback and said, you know, we want to engage minority businesses more, but they're lacking some of the corporate readiness. So we developed a corporate ready program that takes them through and helps them build a cybersecurity policy, various policies that they need to operate an efficient business. And then we provide access to capital. And then at the end of the program, they're able to present their capabilities to decision makers within corporate America. So that's, to me, the value of the certification for minority business enterprises. And 2/3 of the MBEs that have gotten certified through our organization, because I track it, I'm a numbers person, I'm an accountant by trade, in my former lifetime, 67% have said increase in revenues. My job is to increase their revenues as quickly as possible to get them from here and scale them up to there so that they can bring value to your organizations, add jobs to their companies, and impact the communities. So like what Cecil was saying, they're paying a living wage, and not paying minimum wages. So their kids that work for those companies, they're able to go to college. So we're trying to move that generational wealth gap that exists now, and that we found how wide it was after the George Floyd. And that COVID impacted small businesses, but it impacted businesses of color even more so. So we're just trying to be more intentional to bring value to our communities with the minority-owned businesses, help them scale, because then they reach back in their communities and then they hire other folks that look like them. So we're moving the needle within the community impact that all of you all probably measuring with your social governance programs, ESG programs, and environment and all that stuff. So that's really the value.
Recycling a dollar in the community is important. Trying to do business with companies that are within your location is important. It brings economic growth to your community. It's extremely important.
So one last question before I switch to Christine. Can I be certified as not only a minority-owned business, but a women-owned business? Can you have a dual certification?
Well, you can't.
No.
Just jokes.
Actually, I go see the surgeon tomorrow.
Absolutely, and I will tell you, so as she has programs, we have programs too. I work very closely with about 60 different corporations, but I have access to over 400 corporations. When you become part of our women's certifications, you actually can go into our database and get a contact at Chevron, at Shell, at whomever. But I will tell you, before you do that, you need to talk to me and take some of our workshops, because I know several of you have reached out to these corporations and no one has ever responded. I used to be those corporations, so I know what the trick is to get them to respond. So we have a lot of educational programs to teach you that. But absolutely, if you are a minority woman-owned business, you should get minority certified, you should get woman certified. If you're LGBTQ, you should get certified. And I'm telling you this as, again, putting my corporate hat on. Corporations want to make sure they're doing business with who's in their community. So they want to make sure there's opportunity. So they will literally contact us and say, Jaymee, you know what, our numbers are really low on African American women STEM. Can you share with me some of those businesses? So we'll share that information. Jaymee, we're low on our Caucasian female businesses. Can you send me some of that information? And so we will send that out. Corporations are truly looking for that because they want to make sure that they truly are doing inclusion.
And I just want to give a shout out to that video that you all see, I just saw. That video was developed for the WRMSBC by one of our awesome minority business enterprises that's sitting right here, which is Christine Medella of Storyville Road. So you can just see the value of a minority business enterprise. I spent 19 years at NV Energy. I led their Supplier Diversity Initiative. It was an award-winning program. And just yesterday, one of our NBEs sent me an email, and she said, Rose, thank you for introducing me to NV Energy because they're trying to be intentional. She says, we want the opportunity for something that they're doing. I'm not going to say because I might not be privileged. She said, but we won that opportunity, and they let us know on Friday. So these things are real. We have companies and corporations in our community that are intentional about inclusion and opportunity for diverse businesses. So I just wanted to give that shout out to my old company that I work with. And
Thank you, Rose.
I have, there's some brochures on the table for Weaver West. She's kind of holding it up. So if you're a woman-owned business or know of a woman-owned business that is interested in getting certified, please go to this link. We actually have a class twice a month. It's called the Ins and Outs of Certification. Because certification might not be right for your business. It might not be right for you. But you can go to these classes and they will talk to you and they will talk about what certification does, who it will benefit, the corporations that we work with, and see if it's a good fit. I'm going to put the mic down because I love microphones.
Thank you so much. Christine, Managing Partner and owner of Storyville Road. Christine, it's an honor to have you here today. Why did Storyville Road pursue a minority business enterprise certification?
Thank you so much for having me. So I had the benefit of a great mentor when I decided to start my business say, get certified. And I didn't know what it was at the time, but then my personality is also when I'm in it to win it. You know, so I got certified right away. So a little bit of background on me and my company. So I served for nearly 20 years as a news reporter and anchor all over the country, including here in Las Vegas, and have a deep storytelling experience, and then put that to work when I started my company. So Storyville Road, we are storytellers, it's there in the name, and we're a full-service video production and media coaching company. So when I decided to start the business, I got certified through both of these organizations. So I now hold an MBE certification, Minority Business Enterprise certification, and a WBE certification, Women-Owned Business Enterprise certification, as well as through the state of Nevada, the SBE, the Small Business, and DBE, Disadvantaged Business Enterprise certifications in order to do business with the local government. So I got a whole host of acronyms associated with the business, and a lot of that is not just to benefit me, but to benefit the corporations. A lot of it is risk mitigation. So if you want to do business with a small business, how do you know that I'm not going to disappear and leave a hole in your supply chain? How do you know that my finances, that I pay my taxes, and that I do my due diligence on my end, that I have cybersecurity programs in place that won't put your infrastructure at risk? A lot of that is mitigated through these certifications that we obtained, because like Rose and Jaymee mentioned, it is a deep dive into our finances, into our ownership, and through a thorough audit of my entire business. But once I have that certification, then I can go to a JPMorgan Chase or large corporations and say, hey, I'm not as risky. You can do business with me because you already know that I'm vetted. And so that takes a huge burden off of any organization that wants to do business and not take as big of a risk with a small business.
Awesome. What was the certification process like for you?
I got certified in the state of Nevada first, state certification. That took about 6 months, and then I got nationally certified MBE. That took about 8 months total, not an additional 8 months. And it's, like I mentioned, deep dive into finances, vetting, interview process, submitting. I went to the notary. I wore that notary out. There's a lot of notarized forms and things like that. But again, I appreciate that on my end because now I can proudly say I am who I say I am. I'm not. It's not some business owned by my husband who then I'm just a figurehead. No, I own and I run this business, and you, when you do business with me, can take that on, and we don't have to have those vetting conversations. We can just talk about the business.
So, how long have you been in business?
2.5 years.
And what has certification done for your business?
I cannot say enough good things about the certification and the power it has. I can't just walk up to Salesforce and knock on the Salesforce tower in the Bay Area. But Salesforce is a client of mine that I met through WRMSDC. Again, we're 2.5 years old. I'm onboarding right now with Apple as a 2.5-year-old business. And they sought us out because of seeing our work with other organizations. I signed a 3-year contract with the NFL, which is a notoriously difficult organization to work with. And that was not through supplier diversity. But again, I'm now helping them with their supplier diversity program because as a diverse supplier in their ecosystem, they chose me for my work. And we have projects that air on NFL Network that we produce for the NFL. So I think that's something too that's really important to know. This is not charity, this is not a philanthropic initiative when you're working with small and diverse-owned businesses. Someone asked me, Allegiant Stadium is a client, the Las Vegas Raiders are a client, and an exec with Allegiant asked me, what do small and diverse-owned businesses need the most? And I said, an opportunity, a chance. We need a chance because we are not offering an inferior product. In fact, it's quite the opposite. How many of your suppliers can you call directly, get fast turnaround times? That's what we can do because we're small and we're nimble. When the Las Vegas Raiders first set up shop here in town, they worked, particularly in my area, in video production, they worked with 17 suppliers, external suppliers. They have a video production team in-house, Silver and Black Production, shout out to them, we do a lot of work with them. And so they have 17 other video production companies that they work with. Now, heading into this 3rd year, there are 2, and we're one of them. They have expanded every year, not because of our supplier diversity or not because of our certification status, but because we offer a superior product to many of the other video productions, often larger video productions. We're more nimble, we offer better customer service and highly specialized services.
So if you had one piece of advice to give people in the room about certifications, what would it be?
Do it. Do it. Because there is really no downside. But it's also, I think, setting your expectations correctly is really important too. You can't just slap a certification on your website and then, is that JPMorgan Chase calling me? No, it doesn't work like that. You have to be involved and leverage that certification. So getting the certification is part 1, leveraging that certification is part 2. I went to the WeBank conference in Nashville. They have a national conference, and the NMSDC national conference in New Orleans last year. And when you're there, that is where you can leverage that certification because you're there as a certified business and you can interact directly with those procurement officers. But relationships, I'm a relationships person. I'm not a salesperson, and that's for my teammates and my clients. So my team members, I have a former student of mine that I taught journalism classes back in the day, and he's a former student of mine from 2007. He now works for me. So I'm a relationship person. So I like to form relationships, and again, that's how I run my company. By expanding business, I may start out with a small contract, and every single one of my corporate clients has grown my work with them.
So last but not least, what procurement opportunity are you most excited and proud of that you've obtained?
Oh, wow. It's all really an exciting process, this entire journey, because part of me was a little nervous, a little apprehensive starting a business about, is it going to be lonely? Is it, because I go from this environment where I'm around people all the time to running my own business and starting this whole new chapter. But I think really forming these relationships and being able to impact corporations, fellow business owners, fellow minority-owned and women-owned businesses has been such an incredible journey, and something where there is a whole network of us supporting each other. WRMSDC sent my business partner to the University of Washington Minority Business Coaching, a scholarship there. We've also done programs. I've attended WeBank programs and financial workshops and things like that. And so all of these things together, I wouldn't say there's one. I mean, the NFL is a really nice flex. That's a yeah, especially heading into this year and being here in Vegas. I'm so proud to be in Vegas with the Raiders as a client, Allegiant Stadium as a client, the NFL, and then we were also chosen as the Super Bowl host committee Business Connect program. So we were kind of having a whole sports division here, and being a part of this community, giving back to this community as well, is something that I'm just incredibly proud of. We also offer low and free video production services to area nonprofits here in the Vegas community. So in 2.5 years, we have donated $50,000 in video production services. So our revenue would have been higher had we not done that, but it's something that we, as a small business, are incorporating into our culture. I was able to offer more paid maternity leave to one of my all-star team members than she got from her previous corporate business. And it was a stretch for us. It was a sacrifice, but we're building that culture.
That's outstanding. And it's super exciting knowing that we have 10 professional sports teams in Vegas now that people can do business with. So thank you for sharing your story. In the essence of time, I'm going to open it up to any questions from the audience for our panelists. So if you have a question, raise your hand. We'll bring the microphone to you.
We'll get to you next week.
Please introduce yourself.
Yes, hi everyone, my name is Netta. I'm the owner of Rise Up For You. I just wanted to see if anyone had an update on the Arab Americans and being able to jump into the minority certification. So we are a women-owned business, we're certified, but every time we try to apply, we don't classify. Does anyone have an update or maybe a workaround on how we can tap into that?
Not for sure I understood the question or the classification. Are you saying your ethnicity?
Correct. So
They're considered Caucasian. So
yes.
So the Minority Council will not certify under that. But as a woman-owned business, we will be able to certify you. And unfortunately, I don't know the rulings of, it's above my pay grade, I'm not sure the classifications that they created. But you can get certified as a woman-owned business. But
we are.
It does,
yeah.
For some reason, where you're born, that's considered a Caucasian.
Correct. So thank you
Yeah.
for clarifying. So we are a women certified owned business, but we would love to be minority owned as well. And so I just wanted to know if there were any updates on classification, because Arab Americans and Middle Eastern are considered Caucasian. So when we go to apply, there's no box for us to check so that we can apply.
Right. And one of the things that we recognize is that the requirements that we're underneath, and we're an affiliate of the National Minority Supplier Development Council. Those are the requirements that channel and funnel down to us so that all of the 23 councils operate and certify exactly the same. But certifications that will provide you with access and connections that allow for your ethnicity. It's not a minority business certification for corporations, but it is a certificate program, and it will provide you with access and connections, and I'm happy to talk about that after the segment with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Great question, thank you. Next question.
Ricky with Peak Performance Partners. Thank you so much, y'all. I was at the last presentation. It's so amazing. The question I have for you is, when someone becomes certified, how do they rise to the top, if you will, when you've got so many people who get certified? You've got hundreds, if not 1,000 plus people who are on your list, and they're looking to be that chosen vendor amongst other competitors that are also certified.
Great question.
You know, Christine will probably tell you that, because I was the last part of the certification process is it's a site visit interview, and she'll probably really remember that conversation. But I mentioned to Christine, if this is the last time that I see you, your certification is probably not going to bring you any value, because the value comes with the engagement and with the council, the events that we did. We did 5 events last year to provide as many connections as possible for our minority business enterprises and all diverse business enterprises. After COVID, I mean, they were really struggling. And one of the things that we have is we have 7 corporations that have stepped up to sponsor. We call them Make a Difference sponsors. So if you are a diverse business, irrespective, you don't have to be a minority business enterprise, you can attend our events free of charge, because we want to be able to impact every small business that's been impacted for COVID and provide them with access and opportunities. So it's the connections that really are valuable.
So with Revic West, what we actually do is when you become certified, we have an ambassador program. So we will connect you with a seasoned WBE who has been very successful utilizing her certification, so she can share with you the story of how she was able to get it to work. We also have what's called the PSP program, and I lead it, so I think it's the best one that ever was. But honestly, when I was on the corporate side, it was hands down the absolute best workshop that I've ever experienced before with our WBEs. And so really what this class is I actually teach you the ethics of how to work with the supplier diversity person, how to reach out to a supplier diversity person, how to get a response back from the supplier diversity person. Just like you said, I'm not sure what your business is. What is your business?
I do business coaching and training.
Business coaching. Okay, so there's 10,000 of you that approached me and said, Jaymee, I want you to introduce me to Sony. I can't introduce 10,000 people to Sony. But what I can do is, if you attended my PSP program, what I do is I teach you the best way to represent yourself. You've got literally, I'm not exaggerating, you guys, you've got about 30 seconds, up to 90 seconds to pitch the best pitch you have ever done. What they want to know is, this is who I am, this is what I can do, and this is how I can save you money. That's what they want to know, or don't be always the cheapest, right? This is what my value add is. So you have to know who their incumbent is and how you set yourself separately from them, and it's how you present yourself. You should be able to say that in one paragraph. I'm going to say this will probably make a lot of people mad, but I don't care that you've been in business for 32 years. I don't care that you've kept your staff for 80 years. That's wonderful, but how does that help them? You might have not made any money. You just started existing for those 30 years. They want to know what you can do for them. So JPMorgan, they would want to say, do some research. Are they building new facilities? So come in and say, top sentence. I know you're building something over there on Flamingo Road. This is what my company can do for you. Come in with a resolution to what the problem is. That's what they're looking for, and it needs to be quick. And through our PSP program, we talk to you about funnels. We talk to you about how to have conversations, even when you're networking with them and at an event, and the best way to have a conversation with a corporation, how to get them to follow up. I tell people, if you are certified, when you're reaching out to JPMorgan on that subject line, it should say in a message, certified. We Bank certified. That's already separated you from half the people that are reaching out to them. So they know that you're already certified, so you know that you can do business. In that first sentence too, if you're trying to do business with a utility company and you have no success, when you network and attend events, you might find someone else who's working with Southwest Gas. So they can do that introduction for you as well. Or you can say, you know what, I've been working with San Diego Gas and Electric for 25 years and this is what I've done. So that tells Southwest Gas they already have utility experience. They already know what their risks are. They already know about the insurances. You have to be able to express why you instead of them.
I just wanted to say one thing, just coming from a corporate, right? So, supplier diversity is like my second job, right? My primary job is to work with diverse-owned businesses and see how we can help them scale and grow to be able to get these types of opportunities, right? But one of the things that I would say that differentiates any diverse supplier from another is just the tenacity and the follow-up. So I have someone who, for the last year, has been following up with me on a monthly basis, right? I'm finally able to get them in front of our diverse supplier area in a specific part of what they do. And then I have another one where not only did she constantly follow up with me for an opportunity, but she also engaged me as to how I can help her overall set, right? It's the Southwest SMTC chapter, right? And so from there, I was able to give her an actual, hey, they're looking for people who do what you do right now. Here's a connection. So I really do believe it's what Jaymee and Rose are both saying. It's how do you really connect, build the relationship, keep the relationship going. Not like we had one meeting and now you expect me to remember you a year later, right? It just doesn't work. Or a month later because it's just a whole lot going on here. And then the other thing too is I say take advantage of programs throughout any corporation that you work with, so certifying bodies for sure. But then, with us at JPMorgan Chase, we have senior business consultants that help you, right, with your financials, how you present, what you're doing overall, right? And we connect you to resources for NMSDC and WeBank in order to get you certified. And 2 of those, we reimburse the fees for you. We work very closely with NMSDC for the reimbursement of those fees, and then NGLCC. So I think it's just really figuring out from all corporations that you work with, what are their programs, what do they do, and how you can connect and building those relationships. I mean, I shouldn't have to tell that to any business owner. Right. Business owners know every single day, if you're an entrepreneur, how hard you have to work, right? It's the same if you want a contract with a large corporation, so it's still that hard.
And you should always ask the question too. Contracts are normally 3 years with a 2-year extension. So I always say you've got to learn a prospect versus a suspect. You're not chasing somebody you're not going to get business from. You truly need to do the research on who you're working with. And sometimes people are hurdles, so sometimes you got to go around them. Supplier diversity is an avenue, and they're there. Their purpose of them, the reason why they were created, is to help their company make sure that there's inclusion. But the supplier diversity role is very small. Everybody knows each other. So my company might not be able to work with you, but I know of this company who could utilize you. So they're exchanging your information as well and trying to pass it over. And again, it's the folks that we know, because you're always showing up at our networks. People want to do business with people that they know. And when you're showing up, we remember who you are, so we can share your information with the colleagues.
And most importantly, people want to do business with people that they like.
That's my number one saying.
Michael, can I just drop something in there?
You got about 15 seconds.
All of this certification is important, but it really is important for those corporations that have supplier diversity initiatives, where they're intentional and they're measuring and that sort of thing. So I just want to share, if your organization is interested in starting or beginning a supplier diversity program, we're working with Aristocrat Technology. We're building their supplier diversity program from the ground up. So if that's something your organization is interested in, let's chat so that we can travel this journey together.
So, we covered a lot of information today. There's a lot of information in the brochures that we left for you. The panelists and I will be here along with my other colleagues from JPMorgan to answer any and all questions questions that anybody has. But thank you for everybody coming out today to learn more about supplier diversity.